You can see from early season how difficult they've been to play against. So for us, on the back of the week we've had to come here, it was always going to be a real test for us. And sometimes our freshness maybe just missing a little bit, which is understandable. But when we did produce the moments of quality and that mental resilience when we were defending was all there, and it makes up a fantastic win for us.
What was the issue with Jamie at half time? Presumably it was an injury of some sort.
Yeah, he'd felt something in the warm up, and obviously when he'd come in, just felt something in his knee, but he felt okay to give it a go. But you could just see he wasn't quite moving the same, wasn't as dynamic or that speed that he normally has. So there's no point in risking it any further if he's sore with it. So we just give him that breather and then bring in Patson into the game.
Do you have any concerns over that, Brendan? Is it looking like he might miss any games?
Don't know. Jordan will have a wee look at that tomorrow.
Yeah, and just last one on James Maddison as well. He seemed to enjoy playing in front of a booing crowd. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, it normally happens when you're a top player. You normally get that wee bit of stick. So he's returning to the level. Looked bright, but most importantly, he's been competitive when he hasn't got the ball. And then that keeps his energy and that keeps his tempo of his game up there. He showed real moments of quality, but got the team into some really good positions and then had to do a job defensively for the team. So yeah, delighted with him.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Tom.
James is someone who's always thrived on confidence. How much do you think scoring his first goal since February will give him as we go into the next phase of the season?
Yeah, I think it'll be really important for him. Like for all the attacking players, your job is to create goals and score goals. And if you're not doing that, then naturally your confidence goes. But we've been through the story. We took him out of the team and gave him that sort of intervention, really analyse his game and get him back and reconnecting to what is important for him to be at his level. And he's worked so hard at that. And now you've seen the last few performances coming on against Warsaw where you could see his movement and mobility again, his confidence with the ball, and that's gradually got better, and had his first assist during the week and then scores today. And but also that desire to get up there to score. And that's something that is also very, very important. So, delighted for him. But my delight really collectively for the team was, so happy.
I can just ask you one more. You've talked about how important Johnny Evans is to this team. How important was he today, especially when they had corners and free kicks, long throws into the box? He seems to stay very calm all the time. Yeah,
he's top level. I think I've spoken about Johnny consistently since I've been here, where the club is very fortunate to have you've got a centre half who's one of the leading centre halves in European football playing in your back line. So when he doesn't play, you see the difference. But he's up against a tough opponent today, and Ivan Toney, who's done great coming through the levels and coming into the Premier League and showing he's a real handful. Set pieces, he gets his head on it, and he's such a big player for us. But I thought Daniel Amartey beside him as well, and the guys at the back, you had to be strong. The Bulldogs come into your box, they're good on set pieces, good size, good presence in the box, and in the main we defended it well. The corner that they score from, it's a great ball in, and the guy gets the run and gets the finish, and then the reaction after that from us was very good.
Okay, back to another.
Is that me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Hector.
Thanks, Brendan. Just a couple of quick ones. One on James Maddison. I mean, you'll be aware as much as anyone of his abilities and his talents. Do you think you heard what the Brentford fans were singing, and it was a sweet reaction. Do you think one England cap is a bit light for someone of his ability?
Okay, thanks.
Listen, he can. I think for 2 years there, he was really high level. He can do no more than that. You know, it's all about the choice of Gareth and his staff. You know, he's a super talented player. But there's other great players playing as well. But for him, he just has to do his very best, be the best version of himself, play at a level where you're creating goals, scoring goals, working hard. Then you can't do any more than that. You know, he's a wonderful talent, and England are blessed that they have lots of really talented players like him.
Thank you. And then just one on, listen, you may not be able to say any more about this, but you, I'm sure, heard the Leicester fans singing, sign him up to Youri Tielemans. He had another wonderful game today. He's one of the best footballers in the world. How important is that for Leicester not to get into that situation where they either are forced to sell him or his contract's up and he goes for nothing? How keen are you to try and get that resolved?
Yeah, naturally, it's one that the club will do everything they possibly can, you know, in order to keep Youri. My focus and concentration just with him is just making him the best player he can be and trying to help and continue with his development. And then between his representatives and the club, they'll discuss and negotiate and hopefully they can find a solution. He's just such a wonderful guy to work with. You know, you never lose sleep over Youri not being ready or not being prepared and doing daft things. He's a young guy that's very focused on being the best player he can be, and I think his goal today was sensational strike. And but he's continued. He creates goals, score goals, and you know he's a real brain for us in midfield.
Okay, Ivan, respect, please.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Evan.
From afar, from looking at from afar, it seemed to me today that you were almost taught Brentford a lesson in how to be streetwise in the Premier League. I mean, you know, obviously you were lacking in energy a little bit, but you seemed to suck in everything that they did and then hit them, but doing it in a way that showed you've had the experience of being in this position. Maybe they haven't.
Yeah, but that's all the experience of the league. You know, how to buy a free kick, how to delay a little bit, how to recover, how to rest with the ball. These are all things that the longer you're at this level, you start to understand that. But Brentford are absolutely fantastic. You know, that they've made it really, really difficult for every team they've played against. You know, you've seen the game here against Liverpool, you've seen the game against Arsenal, the game against Chelsea, you know, the games away from home that they've won. Absolutely make it really, really difficult for you. So you have to be right on your game. If you're not on the football aspect, resilience-wise, the real test of your resilience, because all the players, everyone, club, it's so excited to be in the Premier League, and players are wanting to prove a point. So when you have that combination and then add that to the quality, that they're a really, really difficult opponent. And it reminded me of when we played Sheffield United, you know, in their first season up. Really, really tough encounter. You got to dig deep, and then you got to have the qualities to get the victory and have the spirit within your team. And thankfully, we were able to do that today.
Thanks a lot.
All right, folks, we're out of time for the.
Hi, Brendan. It's just kind of building off that previous question, really. I wanted to ask you about how you work the ball forward.
Sorry, we're just going to invite some questions on the Brighton game, guys. In bar until 10:30 on Monday. If you want to put your hands up for that.
Sorry, can you hear me okay?
Okay, yes, Mark, yep.
Sorry, I didn't take myself off mute. It was just building off that last question. I was just asking about how you work the ball forward in this game. It felt a bit like this was quite a direct sort of style today in working it back to front in terms of more long balls. Was that a conscious decision, sometimes bypassing the midfield in terms of Brentford's qualities?
Yeah, but we're not too precious. That's a part of the game, to play with that depth. I think when you have speed in the front line and the opposition push up, I think those movement patterns in order to get in behind and have that wee bit of depth. But there was also moments where we could connect the game in the middle of the field and play through. And there's a number of times, especially in the second half, where we played combined and then we end up in the middle of the pitch and we're breaking through. And probably then the thing that was missing was just our last pass mark. Got into some really good areas and just didn't quite find that pass. But the game's all about balance. You know, it's about possession, of course, but we want it to be progressive. And when you have that speed that we have, and those guys making the runs, that creates other spaces for you on the field. So yeah, every opponent's different. Sometimes there's space in between. Sometimes you've got to make lots of angles in there to receive it and get turned. The team's giving you that space, then we have that game to exploit it, hopefully.
Thank you.
On the driver section, on Monday.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Jordan.
You mentioned about the perhaps lacking a little bit of freshness today, and you've had a fairly consistent team over the past 3 games. Does that mean you may have to rotate your team for Wednesday's game?
Yeah, no doubt. We can't use the same players all the time, so we'll definitely make changes. But it doesn't take away the fact that we want to win the game. So yeah, we'll be bringing good players into the game, and so yeah, we'll recover now, do some work over the next couple of days, some preparation, and then look to get to the quarterfinals.
Thank you.
Cheers, Jordan.
Okay, so any more for the bargain section for Wednesday? We'll leave it there. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.